Hello, folks, fellow anxiety sufferers. My name is Jason, and I wanted to go ahead and make a video about an interesting experience that I had while undergoing a therapist session recently, talk therapy. What had happened was he's asking me various questions of all sorts because I do suffer with intense social anxiety. That's been there for a very long time, probably my earliest memories, or close to it. And I've suffered really, really, really badly with this stuff, and it was about as bad as you could possibly get it. So I'm in this guy's office, and we're talking, and while I'm talking, I was speaking about my parents' divorce. They split up when I was 16. It was a very brutal, awful time for me. And I mentioned how before the divorce, before the breakup, I was a real straight-edge kid. No drugs, no drinking. I had no interest in that. I had healthy hobbies like, music, building computers, fun things like that. But after this divorce, all of a sudden, it's like I wanted to rebel. I was pissed off at my mother and I hated her guts because of what she did, but I never wanted to hurt her feelings, so I would have never said anything that would have hurt her. Now, while I'm talking to him, I told him that I wanted to rebel, but I didn't want to hurt anybody. And I just kept blabbing on, but he stops me. And he goes, whoa, let me just, he kindly cuts me off. I guess not really the word I'm looking for, but he cuts me off and interjects, and he goes, let me just stop you there for a quick second. He says, you said to me you wanted to rebel, but you didn't want to hurt anybody. That must mean you're a good person, right? And I stopped for a second, and I was like, I suppose, perhaps. And then we kept talking, brought it up a little bit later, but what I've learned about therapy is it's not necessarily that you have revelations inside the office. The real revelations occur when you're on your own, and you can soak everything in that was spoken about. So on the ride home, that kept echoing through my mind. Him saying, you must be a good person. But I was amazed to find that it was quite literally impossible for me to call myself a good person. I would always think of myself as a decent person, but there's this aspect of me. There's that aspect of me. Or I'm not that great of a guy, this and that, da-da-da-da-da. So I go home, and I head to a meditation session. Dimly lit room, nice and quiet. Take a few deep breaths, and I go inside. And I had to explore this idea. Am I a good person? I've never really asked myself that question. So what I did is I decided to flip the script and ask myself, Jason, are you a bad person? So I go inside. And I start searching my thoughts, searching my memories. And I'm searching for reasons to validate the idea that, well, if I'm not a good person, I must be either a decent or a bad person. So I'm looking for reasons as to why I'm a bad person. And maybe there were a couple of tiny little things here and there that you could consider, not the greatest thing, not the best thing, but nothing I could really categorize as bad behavior. So what I did then is I said, well, let's flip the script again. Let's go ahead and search memories for good things, evidence of good behavior, evidence of me being a good person. So, to my surprise, I was able to find a very large amount of things, a very large amount of memories of things that I have done, good things that I have done for other people, like good, loving things that I've done for other people, but my mind would not really allow me to access these memories normally because I was always stuck on this idea that I'm just a decent person or that I am a bad person. And of course, being raised as a child in a very strict religious church and household, no one was ever really allowed to call themselves a good person. You weren't allowed to do that because we were all sinners deserving of hell. I understand where they're coming from that aspect. Like, yes, we want to be holy and good, but not... my father, for instance, never called himself a good person. I've never heard him say that. He would say, I fall short all the time, and there's this and there's that. So, I spent the entire week, it's been about 1 week now, I finally concluded in that meditation session that I actually was a good person based on the evidence of my memories. That, Jason, you are actually a good person. But what was very mind-blowing and surprising to me about that was that this had a positive impact on my social anxiety levels. I had not realized in the past that when I was approaching a group of people or walking into a building at work or church, whatever it may have you, I had installed into my mind that I was this okay or bad person. And I'm going to try to fake being nice to people, but it's like I'm hiding this secret behind this mask. I'm hiding a secret that I'm not a good guy. I'm not. Now, how do you think that type of thinking is going to make you feel around crowds? It's going to make you feel terrible. It's going to make you feel awful. Now listen, I don't want this video to run on forever, but I challenge you folks to ask yourselves this question. Am I a good person? If you are, if you decide that you are, if you come to the conclusion that you are, I hope that this has the same positive effect on you that it has on me. Have a great night, guys.